This is Epic Groupcast. I'm Anthony.
I'm Steven.
I'm Alan.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Lawrence.
And today we're talking about our favorite TV shows. I'm going to start off the list today with The Walking Dead. I think it's one that everybody loves, though, in this group.
Yes.
We love zombies.
Yes.
I don't like the show because of the zombies. In all honesty, I like the
Really?
show. No. I like the show because
The survival topic.
it is a scary example of if society fell today, like where we would.
Yeah,
be
how
at.
would it play out?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Governor. For example.
Yeah. Like
I mean, if I lost my eye,
I'd be real upset
I'd be pissed.
if my zombie daughter was murdered. Oh gosh.
Lose it.
I didn't realize for the longest time that the title, The Walking Dead, wasn't talking about the zombies. It was talking about the survivors.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that either. That's
Double
Yes.
means
deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
Deep.
Extremely deep.
Things.
Next on my list is Arrow. I don't know. Does anybody watch Arrow? I love
I've seen
Arrow.
like half
I've
of
seen,
it.
Just
I've
you.
seen the first half of the season twice.
See, I'm
and,
surprised
and
you-
I really like it, but I always forget like what happened in the earlier episodes. So then when I'm like right now, I'm a few episodes behind. I'm like, man, I should really watch that. But then I'm like, well, if I'm going to watch it, I need to start from episode 1 to remember what happened.
Just keep
Wait for
it.
DVD.
Yeah. So once season 1 comes out,
I'm surprised
I'm
that
in.
you like it, Anthony.
Why's that?
Because I don't think he is so much anymore, but in the beginning, he was very much like, I'm going to kill you if...
He's still kind of okay with it. I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't come as
that
often.
surprises me.
Well,
that you
Green
like
Arrow
that.
has killed some people.
Yeah, but like...
Not on this scale, I don't think.
No, he's always... Yeah, like, always has an extreme last resort, and there have been multiple storylines in which, like, that's been addressed.
Well, he
with
killed
him.
Prometheus
Yeah,
for destroying Star City, and
yeah.
Yeah.
he
But,
killed
like,
him there.
I just never thought I'd see you be, like, into a vigilante that actually killed people.
Oh no, I some people need killing, so I'm perfectly okay.
That's
with
your
that.
firm stance. Some people.
Yeah,
it's
some
fine,
people
yeah.
they have it coming.
Okay.
That's
So,
the KKK
you know, that-
motto. Some people need killing.
that's
That was, like, Hitler's very new idea.
Yep.
He's just drunk
Wait
one
a
night,
second.
like,
Hitler 2.0. Some people need
some
killing.
people
They
do
need some killing.
But no, I mean that kind of bothers me about Superman and some of the other heroes that they have such a firm stance that they wouldn't kill somebody. But
That bothers you?
yeah, a
That
little
they
bit.
don't slide a little bit.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
But right, like Batman will never kill the Joker.
right, yeah.
Although, like,
Which
it would
really-
make his life exponentially
Yeah,
easier.
so much
Yeah.
easier.
He's like,
So you
Oh,
don't
well, I just
believe
let him
you don't
fall,
believe
yeah.
in their like black and white view of like if I take a single life, I'm no better than them.
right.
Yeah. It's all right. I kind of like Jason Todd, you know, in the comic books, and he's okay with
Okay.
killing people. But
See,
lately, he's trying to not kill as many people. But I still think you should be
Good, I'm reducing it.
reducing the number of
Too
killing.
many
Man, the number of
calories.
people
I
I
started
kill
drinking
is
skim
way
milk, and I'm
too
also
high.
not killing as many
Way
people. Trying to jog more.
Yeah, you know.
You gotta make those
The
sacrifices.
new year,
you know?
I mean, it's
But no, I'm okay with it. I'm
Good
okay with
New Year's
it.
Resolution.
Gave it up for
Not to
Lent.
kill as many
yeah. Give it up
people.
for Lent. Yeah, give me a long 40 days.
You know, I like Batman. I like the Superman movies. But I gotta say, I like this Arrow. I think that it's as good as Nolan's Batman. I really do.
Wow.
I really do. I really
Wow.
like it
So,
that
like,
much.
the
It's
CW
really rough starting out.
So the CW-esque drama
Yeah.
is appealing to you?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This one.
God.
On
This
this
one
one.
is.
On this
Yeah.
one. Just because...
Yeah, because it starts out, and I mean, it shows you what his life was like on the island while he was
True.
marooned, and then it shows you present day, and it goes back and forth, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, the last episode, I'm going to try not to spoil anything, but the last episode has a cheesy weapon that will cause an earthquake,
Oh.
whereas, you know, Nolan's Batman had a cheesy device that evaporated water in metal pipes, but not in people. But, you know, I mean, they're relatable. You know, he's got a Commissioner Gordon type figure. So, I see some similarities in the two. His girlfriend's a lawyer, like Rachel Dawes, so. But anyway, that's gotta be enough on Arrow, for real though. I also really love Stargate Atlantis. That's one of my favorite shows. Stargate Atlantis. I liked the Stargate series. I liked SG-1. I hated Stargate Universe.
Oh, I like Universe.
But Atlantis has got to be the one for me. I like John Shepard and Ronan.
Yeah,
McKay is great.
I love the entire cast of Atlantis.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Everybody was great
Except for
in that show.
the chick.
What was her name?
Taylor.
Taylor.
No, I loved them all.
I just felt like she was a very
She was
empty
just like,
character.
she was just there, and
She
a lot
was-
of times
yeah.
they would just give her things just to like be like, "Hey, I'm still around," you know, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm pregnant now."
Yeah. Yeah.
Was she pregnant in real life when that was going
Yeah,
on?
I think so.
She's like, I gotta get back in the show.
Yeah.
I gotta get impregnated.
Something
They
drastic
can't-
needs to happen
I gotta do
to
something.
make me interested.
I got a new haircut. They didn't notice.
They can't ignore this. I have to get pregnant
Yeah.
or cut off my arm. It's
That's
got to
right.
be something that
It's
they
one of the
see.
two.
They're going to have to write it in the show. And it'll be about me. But yeah, I like Stargate Atlantis a lot. I like the city and the puddle jumpers.
Can we just talk about all of the Stargate at once? Because
Yeah.
I have Stargate
That's
SG,
fine.
or I have Stargate on my list, but I was going to talk about Atlantis and SG-1 because there are some amazing episodes of SG-1, like Window of Opportunity, the Groundhog Day episode,
Yeah.
one of my favorite episodes
That
ever.
was awesome.
1969, where they all go back in time. That was a great episode. And yeah, I mean, just every episode of Atlantis. McKay makes that show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really surprised he hasn't done anything really since.
He's been Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but he was just angry neighbor number
Right.
one. Come on.
But he was in there. And he
Was
was in
there.
that awful movie Splice, wasn't he? He was in
I
that.
didn't watch it.
No one watched
But he
that.
was in.
Oh, I watched that. I kind of liked that movie.
He was in Cube. Have you guys seen Cube?
Yeah.
I love
he was,
Cube.
that's right.
Yeah, he was. And he was in. He actually directed a movie, A Dog's Breakfast, I think is what it was called. It was interesting.
Was his sister in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's his name? The doctor from Atlantis was the.
Yeah, I don't know what his
Main
real
guy.
name was.
I can't think of his name.
Carson.
Yeah.
Carson was his doctor name. So what else on your Stargate
That's
list?
all I-
Did
that's
you
all I
like
got.
Stargate Universe?
Just that I love SG-1 Atlantis. I like Robert Carlyle a lot in Stargate Universe. What's his character name?
Was that Rush?
Yeah.
Dr. Rush?
Yeah.
Like
But
He was
but
my
I never
favorite by
finished it.
far on
I'm-
the show.
You never
I'm like
finished
4
Universe?
episodes away from finishing Stargate Universe, but I want to rewatch.
The,
Just like everything else, I got to restart the season so I can finish.
the worst part about Universe is like the first season is kind of rough, but really interesting. The fact of like you get introduced to all the characters and
Yeah,
why they're there and why they want to get back and blah blah blah.
yeah,
And like they really tried to focus it more on the human relationships
Right.
and like this
Yeah.
weird love triangle. But then you get into and it was rough.
they definitely went somewhere different with
Yeah,
Universe.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the
then
the
big
only series-
departure is
Yeah.
what bothered me from what I was used to.
But then you look at season 2 and it gets so good. You get more like mythos about the ancients and they get to see different areas of destiny. And then they kind of get their first like recurring villain. And
Well, after season 1, I quit watching the show until I heard that McKay was going to be on there.
Yeah.
Then I had to play catch up, and
Yeah.
watch them all at once.
I
So
didn't realize McKay was even on it, or I
Yeah.
probably would have watched it.
yeah, that's
He's in one episode.
yeah.
But
But that was the whole. I heard McKay was going to be on there, so I was like, all right, I guess I got to watch all these now
Yeah.
what they did,
for the
obviously,
one
was
episode.
they tried to make Stargate more like Battlestar, you know, and,
Yeah,
I,
they did.
And I think that was a mistake.
and they took all of what I love about Stargate out of the show.
But then they bring it back into it. in
That's what I
season
need.
Not-
2.
I
not
apparently
well
need to
enough.
watch season 2.
God, it's really good. I really enjoy it.
I'll give it a chance.
I was not sad to hear that show got canceled.
I was.
I was sad that there was absolutely no Stargate show on TV for the first time in, 13 years or something like
Yeah.
that.
And I think they were kind of banking on Universe doing fairly well so they could make an Atlantis movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
they were
sad
talking
the
like
Atlantis,
would have
movie
been
never
on the
happened.
moon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
what else do
Or-
you like, Lawrence? What other shows do you like?
Well, we're still on my list, right?
You've
now.
already named like 3 or so, haven't you?
I didn't get to mention Doctor Who or Smallville though. Doctor Who's
Oh.
kind of important.
Yeah, you talk. Go ahead and talk about Doctor Who.
I do
You
like
might be
Doctor
the only
Who.
one here
I
that
didn't-
like
Yeah,
likes
it should be on the
Should we
list.
give him the room?
Yeah,
just
Let's
because
give him the room.
The gentleman from Illinois has the floor.
yeah. No, Doctor Who, I like it. It's a little A little cheesy at times, extremely cheesy when you watch the very first episode of the new series.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, I think my biggest argument about Doctor Who is normally I can look, like, on the internet you see a GIF or something like that, or a little meme, and I can usually see it on, like, a show that I don't really have that much knowledge about, and I'll see it and I'll laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I see one for Doctor
You're
Who,
just like, what
I'm
does
just
that
like,
mean?
what is that? Yeah, like, not only am
This
I
is a
not
club
laughing
for
at
people
it,
who love inside jokes.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's like the
And we
10
are
people who
clearly
know
not
what those
invited.
mean, and then everybody
Exactly.
else is like,
And I'm sorry, I will admit this, I have unfriended people on Facebook because of the amount of Doctor Who crap that they share on my newsfeed, and it bothers me.
I'll be sure not to do that.
Oh my
thing.
gosh. It's just that's just me. I don't get the humor.
But he's
I
lasted
just-
50 years.
I know,
50
and that's
years
what,
of Doctor
I know.
Who, on and off.
There
But-
must be something wrong with me, because, like, I've seen every stinking GIF and meme, and I get what Doctor Who is, but I just do not find it
Yeah,
funny.
it's got everything. It's got time travel. It's got space travel. You got
Yeah,
robots and aliens.
But
and-
everything is so silly, honky-dory, over the top.
Yeah, but there's
Woohoo!
still
That's
a
how
few
you-
crap,
good
we're gonna
episodes.
die.
that's how they get
don't
across the
worry.
sea, though. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think on paper I should love Doctor Who. I mean, it has everything that I like about movies and TV shows. I will watch anything that has to do with time travel. But for some reason, I've
But
just
Doctor
never
Who.
never watched Doctor Who. I've just
Maybe
never
it's that they're profoundly British.
could be. Like I honestly have a hard time watching British shows
and there
and
goes the
movies
British demo.
because I know they're speaking English, yet somehow I still don't
Sorry,
understand
guy.
a word
Yeah.
they say.
But I mean,
America.
yeah, America.
people will
Right.
crop up that
Speak
you know,
Yeah.
from American films, and that's always
Right.
like the Governor was in an episode where he thought he was the Doctor and he was running around all crazy. The Governor from The Walking Dead, and does anyone know his
Morrissey?
name?
Morrissey.
And that was a terrific episode just to watch that to see the difference.
No, it's when David Tennant's in it. Is that when it's like more silly? I mean, he's like the silly Doctor, right? I mean, it's not always as silly as Jordan's saying, but
There's
but he's the Doctor that everyone loves, right? I mean,
there's some silliness throughout. The tone gets better whenever Tennant takes over, I think.
Okay.
I think there is some silliness, but there's less. Eccleston was hard for me to take as a silly character. Going in, seeing him in other roles, Christopher Eccleston, I thought he was going to be the more serious Doctor, but he tried to be pretty silly in there too.
But, like, let's face something here. Everything about this is silly, because can you tell me who are the villains of this show?
the Daleks.
There's the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Slovene.
What are the Daleks, exactly?
Well, it's the alien race that has the...
Such a smug
No,
look. What
no.
do these villains do?
What do they look like?
kind of, they have one big eye and some tentacle, and then they have all this
So the-
body armor that's like a tank.
So
That-
they're trash can.
They're a trash can.
They're a trash can with lights
People love
and
R2-D2.
whizzers.
He's a
There's a
trash
difference
can.
between R2 and R2. They were like, this is a robot that has this like weird intelligence personality thing.
Right.
Like wacky, fun, really helpful. Like yeah, and like I've seen the stupid memes of Daleks, and they're just like,
But if you
we
see...
just want to kill things because that's what we want to do. And I'm supposed to be scared of something that is a trash can that just moves on like motorized.
Like,
Oh,
rails.
but
I'm
they
gonna
can
go
fly.
stand on this hill.
yeah.
Safe.
They can fly. It's all good. They can levitate. I thought the same thing about them until I watched the show,
Mhm.
and especially one shows up in Eccleston's run. I mean, a bunch show up at the end of his run, but one shows up during the run, and it changed my opinion of him. You really should check him out.
I can't find them intimidating. I can't. It's like the Brain. Whenever I like the Brain is a villain, I'm just like, okay, I will totally get on board with like master plan thing. But
Right.
like, I'm gonna go fight the Teen Titans, and I laugh like you're a brain and a robot. Like, you're not intimidating.
Or Krang from the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
No, he was meant to be the
Krang.
slapsticky villain.
But there are a lot of other good villains. The Silence and the Sonturans are good also. But what?
Speaking gibberish.
Yeah, Yeah, I understand.
British.
British.
British gibberish.
The worst.
And
Goodbye,
it-
UK.
I think it does make me sad that I don't like Doctor Who because I watched and loved the IT Crowd. I love that show, and it's not near as much as like the over the top slapsticky silliness humor that Doctor Who is, but it's close, and I really enjoyed that show.
All right. Well, to finish out my list, I'm going to say that I loved Smallville when it was on.
Every season.
Maybe not every season. I was really unhappy with Tom Welling in the end, not wearing the suit.
He said from the beginning he wasn't going to do it.
But still, that you
I
know,
like that.
he's
He
gotta
stuck
stick
to
to
his
his
guns.
guns.
Yeah.
But
Season 1, I'm never going to wear the suit.
and they kept to it. But
Yeah.
I think that he disappointed a bunch of fans when he did that. But I gotta say, right now, honestly, after watching Arrow and how good Arrow is, I like Smallville less. I
That's how
really
good
do.
Arrow
'Cause
is. Wow.
I think Arrow is
Look at the second half of Smallville. It was terrible.
well, anything
Like,
Not
after
all of the
Rosenbaum.
second
Like
half.
season 5 through 9.
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah,
They were
there are a
rough.
few episodes within those seasons.
the last two episodes-
that are good, but
The
not
last
great.
two episodes were a complete throwaway, in my opinion. They just they gave up. They didn't write anything. They just filmed the actors.
Oh,
They-
Smallville?
Yeah, they were just so random, and
Because it was just
the story was done.
they were
they-
just
they
trying to
should've
wrap
put
it up
sooner.
really fast.
And then the finale, they drug it out and added a bunch of stuff. It's a big clip show, and
well, like, okay, I just think it got to the point where they were just running out of ideas and doing a bunch of silly stuff.
could have been.
Simpsons
Yeah.
did it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, we
You know?
need to bring in Daniel Jackson as Hawkman.
yeah, like why?
I love Michael Shanks though.
Yeah, Hawkman might have been a step
But,
too
like,
far.
Smallville season 11, quote
Yeah.
unquote,
The
and then,
comic.
like, the comic, it's really good.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
See, I tried it. I
Yeah.
got the first issue, and as I was reading it, all I could think was, "Man, I wish I was watching this."
Yeah.
And it was so distracting that I couldn't go back.
It's just fun to be able to go back to all those characters. Like, they had one about the Flash, and you got to meet Jay Garrick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now they're doing one, like a split story of, in the 31st century, those Kryptonians that were saved
Yeah.
are now a part of the universe, like during the Legion time.
Yeah.
And, Lois and Lana kind of have like their like duo pairing up right now, and they're fighting Metallo, who's bad again. Like, it's stupid, silly fun, but it's like, I remember all these characters.
And so
I
is
watched
Doctor
them on
Who.
TV.
Doctor Who is stupid, silly
Oh.
fun. Now, does anybody else have any TV shows that they love? Lawrence, you want to go with you since you chimed in on the Stargate bit?
Sure, I have a ton of them. I'm going to start with past shows that are no longer on the air.
that are probably on Netflix.
That are mostly on Netflix, yes,
That's their home now.
or some sort
You
of
can check
streaming
Hulu.
service.
Hulu Plus might have some of them.
Amazon has Cheers.
What we're
Uh,
saying is,
Cheers
we really want
is
these
what
guys
I'll
to
start with.
sponsor us.
Yeah.
Uh,
We need money back.
I was thinking about writing Cheers.
I love Cheers. Cheers is a show that I can just sit down and I can watch any episode. You know, you don't have to really. There some seasons have like an arc throughout the entire season, but you can still watch each episode individually and get entertained by it.
Cheers
It
was a
doesn't
good
have an
show.
overbearing laugh track.
Right. But
That was
yeah,
the thing I liked about The Office.
That there was no laugh track?
Yeah.
I love laugh track shows because they just make me laugh because it's either
That's the
I
idea.
already think it's funny and I'm
Right.
laughing and oh look, other people are laughing, which is the whole point of having it. But then when a joke is not funny to you and there's still a laugh track, you can always think, oh, they want me to think that's funny, but it's not.
Right.
I should probably laugh.
and then it's funny that
That's
Yeah,
not
people are
it's
funny.
not
laughing at
funny, right?
Laughing at the non-funny joke.
You mentioned The Office. I also have The Office on my list,
Yep.
which just ended, but
That
had
was
a
sad.
great
It
run
ended with
until the
Supergirl.
end. Yeah, they did.
It's been gone.
Like seriously, they really tried hard to make Andy Bernard,
Yeah.
Michael Scott.
I liked Andy Bernard. I did.
I did until the last couple seasons,
Yeah,
and then
it's
I'm like,
just-
this
he
is
can't-
ridiculous.
He can't compete. I mean,
They made
Steve
him-
Carell's amazing.
Yeah,
They made him into a giant douche. That's just my opinion.
They gave it a good try though.
and even the Jim and Dwight thing just kind of subsided toward the last couple seasons. I mean,
They started
Spader
getting
is so
along.
weird.
James Spader, yeah.
And
Which he was only in a few episodes, but
Nellie.
Yeah.
She was on Doctor Who.
I don't
She was
care.
Donna Noble on
I
Doctor
get
Who.
it. You like Doctor Who?
all right, no more Doctor Who. We're past that now. And the last past series that I have on here is Lost. I really enjoyed Lost for the most part.
For
You
the
know.
most part.
It got absolutely ridiculous, but
See,
I
okay.
still enjoyed it. You know,
That brings up an idea here. We kind of said that with Smallville, and we're saying this a little bit with Lost now. Like,
Well,
why?
Maybe they should
Okay.
give up.
Yeah.
Well, no.
why can't-
Here's the problem. When Lost was originally pitched, it was pitched as a 3-season series. Like after 3 seasons, we are done. We're going to tell this story in 3 seasons, and we're out. And it was so popular that they convinced them to make more seasons.
Yeah.
And that's why it suffered, is because rather than having this, succinct storyline,
Mhm.
they had to
Yeah,
blow
they
it
were
all
like,
up
"Oh,
and add
crap,
a bunch
now
of
we need to
filler
keep
in
going."
there.
So
Yeah,
what you're
right.
saying is money. Money
Let's
is
say
the
they
reason.
convinced them.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's
Well, that's
all
the thing
money.
is, would you rather have television studios that said, okay, well, this show, you've pitched us this amazing idea, people love it, and it's a 3-season story. Okay, well, let's just do that. Knowing that even if it's amazing, it's only 3 seasons, and then you're going to have to do something else to catch people's attention. Would you rather have that?
I personally would
would.
rather have the better seasons.
Yeah.
And then, depending on what the show is, it probably wouldn't work for Lost, but have movies, like straight to DVD movies afterwards.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, think about what you're
that's tough to
saying.
do, though.
You're signing yourself up for so much more TV watching.
See, I would rather have.
What do you mean? If they come in and only do a certain amount, like a certain set of
I'm
seasons?
saying I think the argument you're trying to make is that you would rather watch more TV.
I would rather watch. Okay, Smallville.
I would
Great
rather had
example.
7 seasons of Smallville.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to go.
I would rather
next.
have, instead of 10 seasons, I'd rather have like 5. I could honestly say that there are probably about 5, maybe 6 good seasons in those 10 seasons. Give or take. Give or
Yeah.
take. I would much rather have that as the whole series of Smallville than 10 seasons and
Right.
half of them
But,
being
but there's
bad.
a big
agree with
difference
that.
between 6 seasons compared to 10 and 3 seasons compared to 6.
True.
Like
True.
I would rather have 6 seasons of Lost and the first 3 be amazing and the last 3 be good
Yeah.
and get to see more Hurley, more
Yeah.
Sawyer, more Jack.
Yeah.
I really like the characters
Well,
Locke,
yeah.
and I would rather watch 3 more seasons of them doing stuff and their
But what-
backstory and all that stuff than not have it at all.
But okay, this is what usually happens. Lost is added, and then Lost is picked up, and you've got these writers that say we have a 3-season story they want to do, so they write about it, and then they're gone. Well, Lost is still doing really well. Actors still want to stay, so they hire on new writers that make this weirder.
But I don't think that's what
different
happened. I think
story.
it was the same writers. I think they just changed the story,
I
changed the.
think they bumped through different writers throughout
Oh.
the whole series. on Lost.
But it wasn't bad. Even the last 3 seasons weren't bad.
Really.
They just weren't as good. It's like
Okay.
the first season was just like edge of your seat the entire season, and it got funnier as it went on. And the more you get to know the characters, the more you like the characters.
Yeah.
And there are some really good characters on the show.
All right, so Stargate Atlantis is a show that you love,
Yes.
right? And it lasted 5 seasons
Yes.
and was cut short. Would you have rather they went on to maybe 10 seasons of Atlantis?
Yes. I would have watched
Yeah.
Atlantis until they stopped making it.
Yeah.
I would have too, but that's
just
just
because
there's
you've
certain
got
shows.
McKay and you've got Shepard and you've got Ronan.
Yeah, but that's a poor example because that show, like,
it
had
never
a-
really got bad.
Yeah, it
you
kind of
know?
had a weak first season, but it wasn't because it was a bad show. It's just because it didn't know what it wanted to do yet. It wasn't sure if it wanted to be different from SG-1.
Right.
But then they realized it's not sci-fi enough, and that's why they brought in like Ronan and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And
But a lot of people say that
better.
SG-1 got bad when Jack left.
It did.
And
I hated 9
but
and 10.
no, I
liked
loved
them.
season 9 and 10.
Hated
Those are
them.
2 of my favorite seasons.
What's his name? Ben Bowder?
Yeah.
Bowder?
Yeah. See, he was an okay character, but it
I
seemed like
liked
that
him.
was a Jack O'Neill light. And then
a younger, less experienced
yeah,
kind of Jack O'Neill.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the sarcasm
And then like they
with
throw on
Beverly
this
Hills.
whole
I liked him. I
Daniel
liked him.
Jackson and that one girl from Farscape. Like this weird like
Yeah.
love 'em but hate 'em relationship thing that we're only supposed to accept because she was in one episode in like season 7 or something like that.
Yeah, she was.
Well, they brought her
hijacked the
back.
ship or whatever,
Yeah.
and then she came back a couple
Vala.
times since
Is
then.
it Bala Maldoran.
Yeah.
They brought her back because Samantha Carter, well, who was she in real life?
Who
I
was
can't
she in
think.
real life?
What's her real name?
Who did she play in the
Amanda
real world?
Tapping.
Amanda
She doesn't have a
Tapping.
real name.
Yeah.
She was pregnant, so they got another woman to kind of do some
Oh.
episodes with, and then they brought her back because people liked her so much after that.
Okay.
So they needed a way to keep
I
her on
liked
the
her.
show.
I thought she was kind of funny and
I
fun.
liked her.
She was fine, but like I enjoyed her character. I just hated that like they're trying to force this weird relationship.
Yeah, and it
between
was
these two
like, and it
characters.
took a long time before it
Yeah.
actually happened. I mean, it was at first it was just we don't like each other, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, but it was fun. I liked it. Okay, so that's all of my past series. My current series that I watch that someone else hadn't already taken, I got Big Bang Theory. That show was absolutely wonderful when it started.
Yes.
First couple seasons were hilarious and good, and they have changed the characters so much in that show that you wouldn't even, if you compared like season 1 Sheldon, the newest season Sheldon, they're two completely different people.
6 seasons.
6 seasons? Jeez.
So,
but I
would
still
you-
like it. I mean, it's the same thing. I like the characters, and it's still interesting and it's still funny.
So should
But
they
it's
cut it off?
but it's a completely different show.
It's a very different show.
Should it have ended after 3 seasons?
Yeah.
No, see,
That's what. It's still my point is I would rather have decent seasons of shows with characters that I know and love than start a new series with characters I might not like, even if it's played by the same actor.
like, I get what they tried to do with that show, and it's still funny to me. Like, I'll watch it and
Yeah.
I'll still laugh,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just because my opinion on the characters have changed dramatically. Like,
Yeah.
when that show started, it was, like, Sheldon wasn't deliberately mean to everyone, and it was like,
Right. It was just
it was
it
almost
just
like
awkward.
he would say, say something awkward or like a little bit insensitive, and it really was just like, oops, he doesn't know any better.
yeah,
it's
and
like,
now
aw.
he's just an
But now he's
egotistical
just-
jackass.
Yeah,
kind
now
of.
he's just like, I'm better than everyone, and everyone else is below me, but like, I need you for everything. Like, and that's not funny for very long. Like,
I would imagine
they turned
not.
Sheldon into what I feel like is a very sad character.
Yeah.
Very sad character. And they made Raj this weird, like, desperately needs a woman but is clearly gay. Like, I don't
Kinda.
get that either.
Yeah, I don't really know where they're going with Raj
Yeah.
right now. I mean, but
I like what they did with
I don't want
Howard.
to spoil anything. But
Yeah,
spoiler alert: did you watch the
I
the
saw
newest
the season finale.
Yeah, where Raj is finally overcoming his awkwardness,
Which is the
weird too, because that's a big part of his character, and,
Yeah.
and that's some of the funniest stuff in the show. Is
When
like
he whispers to
when-
Howard.
or like he's talking and walks in the room and there's a girl there and he just gets real awkward, and shuts up. And,
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're going with that, but I'm interested still. Psych is my next one. Love Psych.
I've only seen bits and pieces
I've only
of
seen
it.
like the majority of the first season, but it is really fun.
It is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really funny show.
I've heard that show is significantly different now from what it was.
And they make fun of themselves a lot. Like
Yeah.
they've always kind of been like
yeah.
Yeah.
they'll
that's the best
mention
part,
the Mentalist or something,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, that's absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous,
That's the best part. They understand that what they're
Yeah,
doing.
like and there's so many obscure references to 80s movies
Yeah.
and stuff. It's just,
All
it's
those,
very
yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah.
I love the main characters in that show also. White Collar. Anybody watch White
I
Collar?
want to.
My wife watches White Collar and loves it.
I love
I've seen
it
a few
too.
episodes, and what I've seen, it's really good.
It is really good, and
Because
it's
Matt Bomer is awesome.
yes,
it's got
he
Bryce
is.
He's
Larkin.
amazing.
Yep.
It's a Bryce.
I hate Bryce Larkin.
I love White Collar. Like, I didn't expect to like it as much as I do when I started watching it. I think at the time it was like summer, and I just was out of stuff to watch, and I'm like, oh, I'll try this show. It's got Matt Bomer in it, and I just I started watching and I just never quit. I think I watched season 1 in like 3 or 4 days. I mean, it was
Wow.
I really drew me in, and I really like
Check
it.
that out.
Arrested Development.
Oh yeah.
Anybody seen the new season of
No.
Arrested
See,
Development?
I haven't seen all of it yet, but has this new season changed your opinion
Yeah, how
on the
is it?
show?
I feel like, and this is not going to make sense to people listening, I liked seasons 1 through 3.
Yeah.
I just, for the last few years, everyone has been like, oh, you need to watch Arrested Development. That show is so funny. It's so funny. That's all I ever heard. Dude, that show is so funny. And then I watch it and I'm like, it's not as funny as people said it was.
Okay.
It's funny. I enjoy it a lot, but it's not as funny as people say it is. So maybe, it's my own fault for getting my
hopes up,
hopes up
expectations
so
up,
high. Yeah, my expectations were so high for that show, and that was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
But I love the show. I like season 4 a lot. I like how everybody looks 10 years older now, but they're
Yeah.
not even mentioning it.
Yeah,
kind of.
it's just kind of swept under the rug.
Like, like Michael Cera is way too
No,
old
yeah.
to be.
They make that comment in the first episode about Jason Bateman's character.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like, oh, I got.
he hasn't aged like a day, and he
Yeah.
really doesn't
Yeah,
look like
he
he
does,
has.
yeah, he's one that doesn't really.
Yeah,
But Lindsay,
Oh my
completely
gosh,
different
yeah.
person. She looks totally different.
really.
Yeah. And the last one I have on my list, and I saved it for last because I thought that I was going to get some grief over it, is Once Upon a Time.
They're
Yeah,
making
get no
a
grief here.
Yeah.
sequel spinoff of that.
What?
You won't
For
get any
Wonderland.
grief.
I love that
Really?
show.
Wait. For
Really, I
Wonderland?
like that show.
Like,
For real.
yeah,
They're
like,
making a sequel spinoff.
Oh wow.
My wife started that show, and I started watching it,
Yeah.
later on.
yeah, me
And
too.
she's actually quit. She got sick of the show, and
Yeah.
I'm still watching it.
Yeah, see, that's kind of the same thing happened to me. Was my girlfriend made me watch it, made me start it because she had already watched the whole first season, and before season 2 started, she made me get caught up on season 1, and I really expected to hate it. Like I was even just making fun of the idea,
Right.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"What
This
fairy
is-
tale
yeah, like,
characters
I'm
in the
gonna-
real
yeah.
world? That is just stupid."
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I'm like, "Man, the show is so good. Robert Carlyle is so good in
He's
that
the-
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he is definitely one of the reasons to watch. And I think the fact that it was made by, I think the writers for that show were also writers on Lost, or producers were producers
Really?
on Lost. There's a lot of Lost characters in Once Upon a Time, and they even like sort of make some references to it. I mean, there's like I don't know, there's like the same brand names and stuff are in both shows.
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That's
I
cool.
I liked it a lot more than I expected to. I
Yeah.
expected to hate it, and I ended up liking it.
It's-
And I
it's
really
got-
like to be
It's
surprised
got
like
cheesy
that.
moments, but they back it up with like really intricate
Yeah.
plots.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorite shows.
Yeah,
but
it's not my favorite show.
I try to
but-
catch
yeah.
it every
Yeah,
week.
I like
right.
watching it. I like to see what characters they bring up.
Oh, yeah. Because you never know what
Yeah.
storybook characters they're going to throw in there.
Yeah, you know my
They
love
even
for-
got Frankenstein in there.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah, he's thrown in the mix, too. So,
they had
makes
me at
things
Mulan.
interesting.
It kind of sounds a little
Mulan, they had you at
They
Mulan.
had me at Mulan.
Mulan is in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so
She
many
has a crazy
fairy
lesbian
tale-
mother.
and not necessarily fairy
It's
tale.
like-
Like
It's like really depressing.
when did Dr.
What do you mean she's-
Frankenstein
it's
become a
you're not
fairy
thinking,
tale?
oh, she likes the other meat. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
She likes the other white meat.
And when you meet her, she's traveling with a chick, so you're just like, wait, what?
Oh, that's awesome.
But no, Once Upon a Time is
It is.
it's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
like
good show. It's
I'm excited about your list, though. Let's,
yeah. I
let's
think
hear
I'm
what you
gonna have
have.
a lot of ones. I've got Dexter season 1 through 4 only because Dexter's made really bad decisions in the last few seasons. and
Yeah, I agree
they're
with you
they're
there.
finishing it up this summer, and I hope
I saw a promo for the latest season, and it looks interesting.
I'll watch it just
Yeah.
because I have so far. But I love John Lithgow. He was the best villain they could have brought on. And then after
Yes.
that, it's just Dexter's got a new
Trent Killer.
girlfriend. Dexter's got a new girlfriend. It's like it's stupid.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything with
The
his character.
monster of the it was monster of the week with a lover of the season.
Yeah.
See, I'm the same way. Like, I loved the first few seasons of Dexter, and I quit watching.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's,
Season 2
and
and
I was
4 were my
still
favorite
really
hands
kind of
down.
interested when I
Yeah.
quit watching, but I watched until the Trinity Killer, right? That was
Yeah,
John
he's
Lithgow.
John Lithgow.
That's
Yeah.
He's
the
the
last
best.
episode of that
The-
season was. I watched the first couple episodes of the next season, but
Season
couldn't get
7.
into it like every
Which
season.
which
before
season
that.
was he on the religion kick? Because I would have preferred if they
7.
did that right after his wife died.
Me too.
Because it was like, okay, if Rita
With,
meant a lot to you
Yeah.
and she passed away, all of a sudden now you're just getting a new girlfriend with Lumen, which is just complete BS. I would have
Yeah.
preferred him to actually travel down, a spiritual road instead
Now,
of
was
just
that Julia Stiles?
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was no.
No.
The religion
Because
was
she was in
Colin
it for a while,
Hanks.
right?
yeah, Colin Hanks and
Oh.
Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That
his
season
girlfriend.
was
his
good.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
his
was-
girlfriend.
Who was his girlfriend?
Yeah, that was Julia Stiles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant.
It was.
It was so sick. It was amazing.
And I'm sorry, but I'm going to. Something we said just reminded me of a show that I absolutely love that I forgot to put on my list, and that's The Shield. Have any of you guys watched The Shield?
No, but I've heard that it's
No,
the best
but
show
I know I
ever.
should because I know I would love it.
Seriously?
Michael Chiklis looks like a
Yeah,
badass.
I mean, it's another one of those shows that starts to suffer toward the end, but like the first 3 seasons are absolutely incredible. It goes 7 seasons.
Noticing a theme here.
Yeah.
Shows go bad if they keep them on too long.
Right.
Well, it's either
That's what I'm saying.
die a
but-
hero or live long enough to become a villain thing. It's
Which, speaking of Heroes, I loved that show. Up until the first season. And then after that,
And then after
after
that.
the first season was over, then it's not worth watching.
There were some episodes that
There were some episodes
here and there that were really good.
but as
yeah,
a whole season, it's a one and done.
yeah, like they're like, oh man, we have these great characters, but they're a little bit too powerful. So you know what? Let's just cripple them, basically.
We don't know what to do with them because we weren't that good of writers, I guess.
yeah, didn't think that through. Huh?
No, didn't plan that out.
Oh, that happens.
But I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I've got-
Let's get back to your list.
All right,
Steven.
Dexter. I have Archer.
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love obviously The Walking Dead, The Office, King of the Hill, which is a throwback, but I love that. Justified, which has got a lot of the same cast from the Shield, and then Being Human is a guilty pleasure that I like.
Now,
U.S. or
US.
UK?
I've heard
See,
that
I
was
Well,
love
really
actually,
good.
for Office, and I've watched both.
Yeah.
Just to
for
say I've
being
watched both.
human.
Yeah.
See,
I've watched
I started watching Being Human when it first came out,
Yeah.
season 1, episode 1. And I watched, probably 4 episodes of the U.S. version of Being Human before I gave the BBC version a try. And I got 1 episode into the BBC version, and I had to quit watching it because in that 1 episode of the BBC version, I had already spoiled stuff
Yeah,
for
you
myself in the
destroyed
UK
it.
version.
Yeah.
So now I've resigned to, I'm going to wait until the entire series is finished in the U.S. and then I'm going to watch the entire UK series because I don't want to spoil anything for myself because I like the U.S. version so much.
Yeah.
Watch the U.S. and then watch the U.K. because
Well,
the
that's what I'm
UK
gonna do,
eventually gets significantly different,
Right.
which makes sense. It's been on longer.
Yeah.
But
Right. But I'm afraid that, it's been on longer than the U.S. version, so I'm afraid that some of the storylines in the UK version, they're eventually going to do in the U.S., and I don't want to
Something
spoil it for
US
myself.
first.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm going to wait till the U.S. one is completely done.
Yeah.
And then
Catch
I'm gonna watch
surprises
the
as they
UK.
happen here, and then just go back. That's
Exactly.
what I would do. Yeah. But that's one that's I didn't want to like it, but I watched the first 5 episodes and was like, oh crap.
I like everybody in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
good.
Sam Huntington is just
He's great.
he's
Sam
amazing
Witwer,
on
too.
Broadway.
He's,
yes, Witwer's
he,
awesome.
he plays that part well.
He does, or he's like, I've got some wisdom, but I'm still obviously not making good decisions. He's a good
Right.
character.
Old enough to know better.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But,
not old enough to care.
Yeah. do as I say, not as I do.
As a
kind of.
vampire. Oh,
Yeah. Wait.
what crazy things can we get ourselves into?
Wait. Yeah. So what about you, Alan? You got any favorite TV shows?
Well, in the Wayback Machine, I'm gonna go with Seinfeld.
Nice.
Seinfeld's
Yeah.
a classic.
Yeah.
Show about nothing.
I quote that too frequently.
So good. The writing style, I think, is my favorite part because everybody gets into their own separate hijinks, and then it all ties up in the end.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, and I know I should.
You should.
Anything else?
I had Firefly written down. My show that went on too long is Weeds.
Yeah. I'm the same way with Weeds. I watched like 5 or 6 seasons of it. Loved the first few seasons.
Well, they just
And then whenever she moved to Mexico,
they
that's,
just need
that's
to
where
get
they
rid of
lost
those
me.
2 or 3 seasons completely. Because after that, the last 2 seasons were really good.
Yeah, well,
Except you hated the finale.
I got burned on it because I stuck around whenever the show sucked, and I wasn't happy with the end.
yeah. See, that's why. I mean, I just quit, and I regret it at times because I liked it so much. When it the first few seasons, I just really liked it, and I needed to finish it up.
I loved the series finale of Weeds.
I'm gonna watch it too.
I would recommend everyone watching that show just for the series finale.
That good, huh?
It's that good. I loved it.
I did not.
Clearly. Yeah. He's like, nope.
Eureka.
Oh, I love Eureka.
I haven't seen all of it.
That's me either. That's another show that I quit
That's one
watching
I'd
toward
like
the
to
end.
watch, but I never sat down and
I watched
tried it.
again. I think I watched the first 3 seasons, maybe 4, and then I lost it in the middle of one of the seasons. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything, but oddly enough, when time travel got involved in that show, is when I quit watching. That's when I lost interest. The guy who will watch
I'm all about
anything time travel related,
If it's got
He's
time
a
travel,
quit
I'm in.
watching whenever it's the
No
time travel
thanks.
happens.
I'm
I
done.
swear.
Okay, I'm out.
And the last one is Breaking Bad, which is a super intense show.
Yes, it's very
It's
intense.
really, really good.
It gets rough real early, and then it doesn't let up.
That's
Just
definitely one of
keeps
those shows where I have to watch a few episodes here and there because I feel like complete crap. at
It'll
the end of
destroy
it.
your humanity.
Yeah. It just eats your
Thank you,
soul.
Bryan Cranston.
See, I haven't watched enough to.
But
I've
what's
watched
so
most of
crazy
season
is
1.
like seeing interviews with Bryan Cranston, things like that. Like he is the exact opposite.
He
of that
is, and that's the
character.
best part.
Nicest guy.
Yeah, he's the nicest guy. He's
Yeah.
funny. He's hilarious. He'll do anything to make you smile. Like and he plays this like
Yeah, that's the best part about that show is because you
heartless
know.
but not so. Like
Yeah.
The show is really interesting if you keep in mind that when you see him in the beginning, he is a sad individual.
Yeah, he
and
is.
even though all of this terrible stuff is happening, he seems like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah. Well, like
Well, that's
before it
good.
all happened, he was just a high school chemistry
Yeah.
teacher.
Chem
Yeah.
teacher.
But yeah, like he'd hit rock bottom essentially.
Right. I mean, basically, it was a death sentence, right? I mean, from what I remember, like he was just like,
Oh, the
"Oh, you're gonna
cancer.
die." Yeah.
Cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so he's just like, you know what? Nothing left to lose. So whatever.
Yeah.
So that finishes out your list then?
Yep.
All right, Jordan.
Awesome.
You gonna finish us off here?
Yes. Okay.
Big finish.
We've already talked about like Dexter. Surprisingly, a lot of mine haven't already been named off. How I Met Your Mother. I really like that show. I think that's a good example of a show that hasn't changed its characters too much. I think Ted is the only one that's
Right. I mean,
changed
you know,
significantly.
Once a season goes on for a couple or 3 seasons, or once a show goes on for a couple or 3 seasons, you know, like the actors become more comfortable with the
Yeah.
character. The character starts to take on traits of the actors.
Right,
You know, you
yeah.
see that happening all the time. But yeah, like I agree with you on like the characters haven't changed that much in that show.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I really like
And
it too.
It for a while was getting consistently like better with every season, and now I just feel like I think a lot of the actors don't even
Well,
want to be there anymore.
I mean, it's
sometimes.
it's at the point where they kind of have to wrap everything up, you know. And
So,
I think that it's
He
being
hasn't
feels
met
kinda
the
rushed.
mother?
No.
Okay.
It's how many seasons are there going to be? 9. Jeez.
Was this season 8? that
This
just
was
ended?
8, I think, and there
Okay.
9 is going to be
Yeah.
this next
That's
season
right.
will be the last one.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
For sure,
Yeah.
they've already announced.
Okay.
this
When
last
does his
season.
voice turn to Bob Saget? That's what I want to
That's
ask.
a good
This season,
question.
he's gonna
Yeah,
start talking more like Bob Saget.
He's going to get hit in the trachea, and then all of a sudden...
yeah. Liam Neeson comes out of nowhere and just like boom. But no, I like the movie. It makes me laugh. Boy Meets World and the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
I
enjoyed.
like that.
I think one of the main reasons I love that show is if that show was made, and this kind of worries me about their like spin-off
Then you
sequel.
Yeah.
If that show was made now, people would massacre that show.
Yeah.
They would despise it. They'd hate it for all it's being because they do so many things in that show that make absolutely no sense. Okay, like for instance, the show starts when Mr. Feeney is their teacher, and they're in like 6th grade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and
Not-
they're there for one
yeah.
season.
And then he
And
goes
then
to
the next
7th
season,
grade.
he goes to 7th grade.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. And then for like, now, we're supposed to think this is a junior high through high school.
Right.
So he has couple of seasons like that. And then all of a sudden he's like a sophomore. So like we missed 2 years of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
never
then all of a
realized
sudden, then they're seniors. And then all of a sudden they're in college. But then they're not in college anymore. Like who's in college? Like it's everywhere. There are characters that are introduced and never seen from again. Like Sean is at first, like at the very beginning of the season or series, he has a sister, but then later on, she doesn't exist.
Well,
then all of a sudden he has a half brother,
It's 'cause
and then
they got in a car wreck.
yeah, I
It's
guess.
rude.
We don't talk about that.
Maybe that's an
He's
ABC
trailer
thing.
trash, though. I'm sure these are all like
Yeah.
half
Yeah,
brothers and
methed out.
Yeah.
But wasn't it Family Matters? Didn't they have a sister that went up the stairs one season, and that was the last you ever seen her?
Probably.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
she
that's
got
the
replaced by
problem.
that little boy.
Yeah.
They just got they phased out characters.
They just
Well, Boy Meets World did the same thing. Like, what was it, Finkus or whatever, the geek?
Yeah.
Like the mean geek. Like he was just gone, and they acknowledged that in the later episode. Like he comes back.
oh really?
And he's like, "Oh, where have you been?" And he points like off camera. He's like, "Oh, I've been on that side of the school." And they're like, "Oh, we don't go there." No. And then he's like, "Oh, Mr. Turner," because that's another character that like was a huge plot device for
Yeah,
Sean, and
he
then it
was.
just disappeared.
Just gone.
Yeah, and he's
And
like,
then
"Oh,
like-
Mr. Turner," and he runs off camera, and they're like, we're not going to go over there."
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Not if
But
you
I-
disappear from the show.
I
My-
kind of like when shows do that, though. Kinda
Yeah,
make fun
my
of themselves a
favorite
little
part
bit.
about that show is that Mr. Feeney starts this show with clearly enough credentials to be essentially a dean at a university,
Right.
but instead teaches 6th grade.
Right.
Because he teaches 6th grade, he teaches high school. I think he becomes the principal or something at the high school.
Yeah.
I believe so.
For a little bit.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe what you don't see in the background is he's taking online
He's taking all
classes
these
the
night
whole
classes.
time.
Yeah.
While
Yeah,
teaching
he gets
and
his-
essentially
gets his
parenting these
doctorate.
Matthews boys that live
Yeah,
next
yeah.
to him. Like, that's awesome.
That's why he's always so annoyed when they feed it. Like, oh, I gotta put my book down and go
Crap.
find out what Will Friedle's yelling about.
So, okay, I love Boy Meets World. New Girl,
Oh, yeah.
love
That show
New Girl.
just keeps getting better
It
and better.
does.
New Girl
It's
is
just
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
The characters now are much more over the top than they were in first season, but
Yeah.
it's good because they all have their own distinct
Yeah.
quirks and humor, and
And they interlace them perfect, too.
They do.
I mean,
that was a
They
show
really
that my
do.
wife started, and then I ended up liking it. I think that she's dropped it too, and I'm still
and you're
watching.
still carrying
New
it.
Girl is one of those things that I wish I could watch the first 2 seasons, wipe it from my brain, and watch it again.
It's so funny.
Just
It's
because
so
it's
good.
so much.
Yeah.
That's one of those shows where every time there's an episode, I'm just like, I'm going to laugh so much and
Yeah.
feel so happy after this show. And it's always the case, and I just want to be like, all right, wipe that from my mind and experience that again.
We were
It's
just,
awesome.
yeah,
Makes
we were
me
just
so
watching
happy.
episodes the other day, and they had the towel thing with the damn towel, and I remembered it, but I forgot it enough that I could still laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing.
Oh gosh, I love that show so
I
much.
come out clean as a baby. It's so good.
Okay. I also have Entourage on there that I really enjoyed.
because
That
of
show-
all the Aquaman references.
No, like that show is just fun to watch.
It
Like
was fun.
I watched that show because of the characters. They were just so much fun, and like you could tell that they really they were good friends. Like
Yeah.
they had a lot of fun together, and it was just that was awesome. And like to me, how awesome would that be of the life of like I'm living in LA off of my friend who is a movie star, but is so popular he can get like any girl he wants. We go to any party, like the world is your oyster essentially.
Right, that'd be
That's-
pretty cool.
That'd be so much fun. And that's why I really enjoyed that show. I liked Game of Thrones, or I do like Game of Thrones. I think
It's not one that's went on too long yet.
no,
'Cause
that is
you said I liked it, but now because Heroes they went on too long after
Yeah,
their
they
first
did.
season.
They did. Game of Thrones could do like 12 seasons, and I'd just be like, "Oh, why aren't you giving me more?" Like,
Okay,
it's
I love it.
I love that show because it's such a big world, and like every season they introduce new characters because like they're not afraid to like. Okay, well, I think everyone who knows it knows this. If not, spoiler alert. But like one of the biggest characters in that show is killed off at the end of the first season, and that sparks like huge things that go on for the rest of the season and books and stuff like that. Like that's just awesome to me. Like they are able to introduce characters after killing off
Yeah.
major ones, and I want to be mad because like you killed off that character that I really enjoyed, and then they introduced me to a new one, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm back in.
You mean how The Walking Dead does?
The Walking Dead doesn't do that near as good. The Walking Dead is like we're gonna kill off all these people and then give you like 2 people to
Yeah.
like really latch on to.
You've got 2 fan favorites. We'll kill
yeah,
everybody but them.
yeah, and like I really don't like how they dealt with Michonne. Michonne. I don't like how they've dealt with her in the show at
really?
all. Yeah, I don't. Her whole big fight with the governor conveyed nothing other than, like, in the comics, the way it happens, it is completely called for. Like,
Right.
all the horrible, like, because in the comics,
That
that's-
bugged me about the show. I had heard how terrible the governor was in the comics.
yeah,
I didn't think that he was that terrible in the show
No.
until
Yeah.
later on.
yeah,
The way they introduce him, he's just Rick. I mean,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
He's like a better Rick. Almost.
yes, he
He's
is.
a more efficient Rick.
Yeah,
And I kept waiting. When is this guy going to be the psychopath
And
that I'm
yeah,
expecting?
It's not to the
Yeah.
very end that he.
Yeah,
yeah. In the
he
comics,
was
you
kind of a
see that
letdown.
immediately,
Right, yeah.
But like in the comics, the reason why Michonne like goes to town on the governor is for a completely legit reason.
Yeah.
And in the show, it just looked like,
She just didn't like the
yeah,
town.
it was just like she didn't like him. It was
Yeah.
like, oh well,
I've got a
my
bad feeling
friend-
about the governor,
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
want
gonna
my
hate him.
I want
Yeah,
my
it
girlfriend
was.
to come
It
with
wasn't
me.
a legitimate reason.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a gut feeling.
yeah, like and like does that completely warrant you going in with your stinking samurai sword
Yeah.
to kill the guy?
It was a
Yeah.
gut feeling, and then she stumbled upon evidence.
Yes,
That was the problem.
Yes,
It wasn't.
exactly. And in the comics, the show is really good,
Yeah.
but the comic storylines I think are far better than the storylines that are going on the show.
Well, you'll just have that. I mean, any novels turned to movies are usually
Yeah.
better.
But they
Yeah.
could have those. No joke. I really feel like they could have the exact same storylines possibly done in a different way. Just
Yeah.
it's a different medium. But they could have the same storylines from the comics, and they'd be just as impactful on television, if not
Oh,
more
yeah.
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd say you're probably right on that.
But that would limit their cast to pretty much like the same 10 people, and that's it. Like no guest stars or anything. And that's
Yeah.
hard to do in a show.
Yeah.
But
We love guest stars.
I also have on here Scrubs.
Yeah.
Like pretty much the entire series I love.
Really?
I don't know.
Even-
So it didn't go on too long.
even
so
the
you
last
say
you
you like
really
it?
like the last?
I liked the last season, but I liked it not because it was Scrubs, but because the show itself was good. If you forget the fact that this is supposed to be the last season, like Scrubs season
Right.
10, it's a good show. Like,
Yeah.
I
I like
agree with that.
Dave
Yeah.
Franco a lot.
Dave
in the
Franco
last
was
season.
hilarious. He made that show. Him and the Dr. Cox's little guy, and then the blonde head
Yeah,
girl,
blonde. Yeah.
the no nonsense doctor.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, they made that show.
What
It
is
was
she?
Joe.
Happy Endings now. Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, which they canceled Happy Endings.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I caught a couple episodes of it, but I never stuck with it.
That's a show that I always hear from people that's amazing.
Yeah,
but I've
it seemed
never
like it was really
watched.
funny, very
Yeah.
New Girl-esque, but I never.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm into New Girl. Screw Happy Endings.
It's a cool concept because the whole
Yeah.
show is about a couple are together and they kind of get friends as they're a couple,
yeah,
and then they break up, and like which friends
How do we
come
divide
with
the
them in
friends?
break up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Oh, yes, Community.
Oh, Community's good.
But Community seasons 1 and 2.
Really?
Yes.
The characters do change quite a bit from the first
It's
season.
not so much the changing of the characters, it's just the tone of the overall show. Like, season 1 was very meta and pop culture. Yeah, like, it was... It knew
culture-like?
exactly what it was wanting to be. And
Right.
it was so refreshing to have a rookie show come in and be like, this is who we are. It is distinctly different from everything else, but it's really funny. And then season 2 got, like, you've established characters and everything like that, and it got a little zany, wacky, and it was
You
fun.
had a zombie episode in season
Yeah,
2. And
but that's the thing, it was so meta, like, making fun of zombie movies
Right.
and stuff like that. Like, that was cool. And then season 3 was okay. It kind of got a little out of hand. And what I've seen in season 4, I'm really not a fan of.
oh, really?
I
But-
still like it. I mean, and again, it's
Yeah.
because I latch on to characters more than
Yeah.
anything, and I
But,
just
like,
really like the characters.
The fact of, like, the big falling out with Chevy Chase
Mm-hmm.
and him not being in most of season 4, pretty much.
Yeah,
Like, him
and they're
just...
always like, "Where's Pierce?" And he's like, "Oh, blah blah blah."
Yeah, they have an
Excuse number 3.
why he's not there.
Yeah. Yeah. But they asked Dan Harmon to come back for Community Season 5.
Are they really going to have season 5? I thought
Yeah.
this was it.
No.
I thought that was the whole deal. I mean, I know on the show they've made jokes about 6 seasons and a movie.
Yeah.
They've said that a few times. Are they going to get the 6 seasons? Because I would like that.
I think they should.
I would
do
love
that.
for them to get 6 seasons and a movie.
I would love for them to do that just because it would fulfill that meta joke.
Right. 6
Of,
seasons
like,
and a movie.
Because that's what Abed says. It's like that is the idea of a perfect show where
Right.
it doesn't go on too long that you begin to not like the characters or have to go to weird directions for stories.
Isn't that where season 3 ends? Don't they have the lettering come up at the end of season 3 and it says 6 seasons
They
and
do
a
it in
movie?
every season.
Oh,
Like
do
this
they?
last season, there's a point where the dean is, I think it's like during graduation or something, and he's talking, and on the back, in the background, there's a chalkboard that says 6 seasons and a movie.
Oh,
And like, it's like crossing fingers or something like that.
they
Like,
better do it.
I would
Because
love
that's
them
what
to do
I
that.
expect now out of this show. I want 6 seasons.
Do
and a
they
movie.
still, have they referenced Cougar Town at all in season 4?
I think they did a couple times. I think Abed said something about it at some point.
Like
Maybe
he was
just
happy
briefly.
that it was picked up again.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that
See, I
show
don't
makes
remember
me
that.
laugh.
I didn't catch
I think
that
it might
yet.
have been the first episode. I don't know. I think because they were contemplating a name change or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
The Cougar Town
Yeah.
show? Yeah.
and I think that they mentioned that briefly or something, or in one of Abed's spiels, he said
Right.
something about it.
Yeah.
Cougar
At time-
Town sounds like a place we should go.
That show makes me laugh
If you
when
like
I
wine,
occasionally
it is.
see it.
Yeah, Abed sometimes he gets too far out there for me. But other than that, I really love the show.
That show is amazing just because of all the individual, like, very distinct episodes. Like
Yeah.
the Claymation Christmas episode,
Paintball.
which was awesome. And they've done Paintball several
So
times,
much.
but each time was pretty funny.
Yeah, like
But
even
the-
this last one was good.
I loved the season 2 one. The season 1 one when it was
Die
like,
Hard.
like Die Hard, Modern, like Call of Duty, stuff like that. That
Yeah.
was really good. But then the second season one was so much better because it was 2 episodes,
The
the
first
same
one-
concept. But the first one was Wild West,
Yes.
which was done wonderfully,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the second part was done like
Star Wars.
Star Wars,
And it was terrific.
and it was really good too. And and the best part is that it's so aware of itself that it references that in that episode of like, all right, well, we're
The-
done with the Wild West thing.
It's
Right.
a Star Wars
It's a Star
thing
Wars
now.
thing now.
And they take off all their Western
Yeah,
gear.
and they're
they-
wearing Star
They're
Wars
like,
stuff.
Starburns, give me your vest. I'm Han Solo.
I'm on solo.
That's great.
That's why that show is so wonderful, because we live so much in a day now that we see the same tropes over and over and over again
Yeah.
in movies and TV shows, and it's awesome and refreshing to see a show that can just poke fun at not only itself but everything else in pop culture and be like, see, we laugh at this and it's really dumb.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, I think that concludes the TV list. Next time we'll probably talk about our favorite movies, I guess.
yeah, in the comments, talk about what your favorite TV shows are.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Talk about them at a later date.
Tell
Be
us
sure-
what shows you thought should have ended.
Way
Yeah.
sooner.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, be sure to check us out next time. 6 seasons and a movie.
Like for us, I could do that.
I've only got 4 seasons in me, guys.